To be completely honest, I do not like doing sales calls. I know you're kind of like that too.
And also you've got a product that pretty much sells itself.
If you're expecting someone else to hire someone else to solve your problems, a lot of the time that isn't going to work out.
There's nobody going to be more invested than you, the owner of the business.
So I believe that you need to be in the trenches in all those areas.
How do you do it?
But having a full SOP of A to Z also reduces your team members' ability to think. And you do want people that can think a bit.
That's a good point. With your product, makes perfect sense. Go where the market is, highly saturated.
I really see it that people are wanting to have a human connection, go to these events, talk to people, shake a hand, see a real person.
When did you start your podcast?
We started SaaS Dads podcast, which you're coming on soon.
Yeah.
I was doing a podcast once with Bryce. We started talking about that, what the sacrifices that you make across your family, between your kids and your wife. I want to have more chats like that with people.
I think it's important for mental health as well, having those conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's not one person that I've spoken to who hasn't had massive problems on the way at some point or another.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode on the HighLevel Experience podcast. Today's guest is back for his third appearance and a lot has changed. Gary Capps is the founder of myCRMSIM, one of the fastest growing tools in the HighLevel ecosystem, now used by over 600 agencies and powering tens of millions of messages across SMS, WhatsApp and iMessage. But what's more interesting is the journey behind it. From engineering to running a digital agency for over 20 years to building a product out of pure frustration with the system he was using. Gary, welcome back.
Thanks, man. Good to be back. Spoken to you for ages.
I know, it has been, yeah. Mate, last time we spoke, we went pretty deep into myCRMSIM, the product. I've had you on 2 episodes already. So I think today, maybe we can just have a bit of a different spin on it. And go back and unpack the journey behind it, because I think that's where the real gold is.
Sure, mate. Far away. We can dive into anything you want, mate.
So, 28th of July 2024 is when I had you on this podcast the first time. So it's been almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So before myCRMSIM, what did your world actually look like day to day inside the agency that you had?
Day to day, I mean, we were still at that stage, we were trying to grow our SaaS. That was the thing that we were kind of focused on. We were trying to build the SaaS, basically, and SMS was a big part of that in what we were doing, and we were doing a lot of database reactivations and managing stuff for clients, and we were trying to build our own little USP things inside of HighLevel, which we built a bunch of estimation calculators. And that's what day-to-day looked like, and a lot of sales calls, I would say, during that time as well, particularly around the estimate calculators that we were building for trade services, which were really cool, awesome product. We still have some clients that use them, and they were a way for people to come onto a website, and if they're looking for a quote for something, they could just come onto a website and they could get an estimate. And there's a difference between an estimate and a quote, because a quote is here's the price to do the job. An estimate is here's what it will roughly cost to do the job, but we need to come and give you a quote. So we built all these online estimation tools for a bunch of different verticals where people could go to the trade services website, and I'll give roofing as the example, and say, hey, I need a new roof for my house. How much is that going to be? And then you could go there and say, hey, what type of roof do you want? And just answer some basic questions, the type of roof, how big is it, has it got solar panels on it, a few other things as well to qualify it, and then they can say, hey, look, based on the information you've given us, that will be around about $20,000. If you'd like an official quote, please let us know. And then we'd go into pipeline and follow up and so on and so forth. So basically we were qualifying leads for trade services.
Brilliant.
Awesome product, really hard to sell. Like I've done so many sales calls, and it was in that trade services niche. And
how did you pitch it?
how did we pitch it? We were talking about how to increase their qualified leads from their existing traffic from their website, because they've got people who come to their website and they may or may not fill in a contact us form. We're like, look, we'll put this on here. And we had stats because we got clients and we knew that it increased their, I can't give you the numbers now off the top of my head, but like we knew that it increased their conversions from website visitors by X amounts. We said, look, we know that we'll increase your number of conversions by this much. You then got qualified leads. You're going to save time because you're not going out and doing quotes on jobs that you're not even in the ballpark for, because you might go out and give someone a quote and say, hey, it's $20,000, and go, oh, I can't afford that. You've already given them an estimate, so you've got qualified leads, and we talked to it through that. And I think it's trade services, I think, are just quite a hard basket to fit into, especially in Australia. Like we were doing this in Australia as well.
Yeah.
I think just trade services in Australia generally quite challenging to bring it into the digital age, shall we say.
So was that something you were trying to fix or just tolerate at the time?
At the time, we were trying to figure out how do we make them see the value in this, because we'd sold a number and we knew the uptick in terms of like qualification through a website. We knew all that. We could give them stats. And we were just trying to figure out and go, why don't people love this as much as we can tell them that it works? And that was quite frustrating, to be honest. You know, it was quite a frustrating time kind of going through that. You go on these calls and you'd have people, you know, we had lead magnets, we had ads running. We were getting a good number of leads that would come in based on what we were putting out there, as in, you know, we can help you double, triple your qualified leads through your existing website traffic. And people were interested in that. But as soon as you told them what it was, they were like, oh, yeah, no, that sounds hard. And we're worried in case we give them an estimate that they then say, oh, but you've told me it's going to cost this much, and now you come out and quote me a different price. We're like, yeah, no, but that's the difference between an estimate and a quote. We just end up in all these sales conversations with traders that didn't even seem to understand the difference between an estimate and a quote. So yeah, that's the point. You give them an estimate and then you go out and give them a quote, like you qualify it. Yeah, we were trying to figure that out, and it was challenging. We were doing a lot of database reactivations at the time as well, and we built out the system for us to do that because that was our own personal challenge with using Twilio and SMS services here. So yeah, that's where we were at. And we had quite a number of digital clients as well in that time as well for SEO and just basic SEO, Facebook ads, Google ads, that kind of stuff as well. So managing that, juggling traditional agency life of doing all the things that you're trying to do for your clients while we were trying to niche into this estimation calculator or series of estimation calculators that we built out, because we could see that as a good niche for us to get into. And at the same time, we were juggling the traditional agency problems of saying yes to everything and doing too much and over delivering and all those kind of things for ads and websites and updating things on other things as well.
I think this is a good topic we can stick on for a bit. Go to market and the best way to sell a product. Do you actually end up figuring out the formula to get it across, or did you just park it in the end?
We didn't end up figuring out the formula, to be honest with you, because we launched myCRMSIM and then that took off and it just overtook everything else. And so where do we put our energy? And we're going to put it in the place that it was easier to sell at the end of the day, ultimately.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a smart thing to do. Go where the market is and where the money's at, right? Sounds though like that project could have come to a solid fruit. Like, it sounds like a problem worth solving. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it is a problem worth solving. It's changed now. So the way that we were doing it was through forms, and we actually ended up, because this was at the start of AI as well, when we transitioned from doing that into SMS, and we were starting to experiment with just AI chatbots that you would just tell it and say, I mean, that would ask the questions rather than a form, because our system worked on forms. And it would have like specific questions, you fill those in, and then it would spit out a number at the end of that, basically. And we were changing that to start using AI chatbots to ask the question. And I know that there are some people that have done that now anyway. They've kind of built these sort of estimation tools through AI chatbots. And I could see that as where it was going, and that's what we started playing with as well. So I think that's maybe an easier thing to do now, because you can put it onto a website instantly. We had demos that we could show people, but now you can roll out a quick AI instant demo. But yeah, that was really where it was. And you've only got so many hours in a day, right? And I could either spend all my hours doing sales calls, because they were calls that I had to do, because it was more of a higher ticket type item for the setup costs and putting it in, and then it was a lower ticket for running it down the track. Mm-hmm. But they all required a one-on-one sales call. And then the model shifted in terms of the product and everything that we were doing because of myCRMSIM, and that didn't require the sales calls. And to be completely honest, I do not like doing sales calls. All right, I think most of us in the high-level space don't really like that. We're kind of techie people, and we're not the sales people. And I know you're kind of like that too, Vic. You kind of want to show people and you want them to be excited and they should understand the value in it. And having to drag people across the line as a salesperson isn't the thing that we're good at, all right? Or I'm not good at it personally. I don't enjoy it, all right? There are people that are brilliant at it, and they enjoy it, and they love it, and that's their thing. But I'm not one of those people. I can do it, but I don't enjoy it. And I don't want to spend my time doing stuff that I don't enjoy, ultimately.
And also, you've got a product that pretty much sells itself. The proposition is pretty straightforward. Reduce the cost of SMS. So when you have a product like that, it makes it kind of easier. But if you didn't, what would you do? Like, how would you solve it? You hire somebody or?
to solve the problem of selling those. Yeah, I mean, ultimately it would have gone down that path to the point where it's same as any business, right? We were kind of building the market with that, and at that point couldn't afford to hire a salesperson to do it, and you're still figuring out what is the sales script, what are the ejections, what are the this, what are the that. I think you have to put yourself in the front line, no matter how much you hate it. You have to put yourself in the front line first of all, so that you can actually hand that process over to a salesperson. I think that if you just hire a salesperson off the bat, unless you get really lucky, or maybe you've got an amazing compensation scheme for them, or something, generally you're kind of handing it over to someone that's not got that much of a vested interest, and they're just not going to try as hard as you are anyway. They're not going to try to figure it out. They would hit the barriers and the walls I was hitting, just go, oh, this is really hard to sell, and probably move on to another job and find something easier to sell. Whereas if you go through the trouble and the effort, and then you figure it out, and you go, okay, this is the formula to selling it, and then you can hand it over to someone, you go, yep, this is what you need to do, then they can sell it, and then it's easier for them, then they're going to stick around, they're going to sell more. If you're expecting someone else to hire someone else to solve your problems, a lot of the time that isn't going to work out, a lot of the time. Sometimes it is, but a lot of the time it's not.
There's nobody going to be more invested than you, the owner of the business. Yeah, so
No.
totally.
And I think that of all aspects of whatever business it is you're in and running, and I know, people say, oh, you need to get yourself out of the weeds and hire it out and get VAs for this and a VA for that and a VA for that, and you shouldn't know everything, right? And I agree with that, but you do need to understand everything that's going on in your business, no matter what it is that you're doing. So you should be in the trenches, I believe, at every single level at certain points, so you can understand at least how it all kind of works. You don't have to be the expert in it, but you've got to be able to relate to the people that you're hiring in to do these jobs. Otherwise, you just have no idea what's going on. You don't know whether they're doing a good job or a bad job, or they're just grifting on you, basically. So I believe that you need to be in the trenches in all those areas just to be able to figure it out until you can pass it on to someone. You go, hey, look, this is how it runs. These are the things that I need to do. These are the problems that I've had. There's some other challenges here that I need you to solve, and this is how I would approach them because of all the things I've learned here. So I want you to go away and solve them. And if you've got better ideas around it, that's awesome. But yeah, I just think if you haven't been in the trenches, then how can you really understand everything that you're just trying to outsource to everyone?
That's actually the process that I always take. Is I try to do everything myself and figure out to the very detail to make sure that A, I understand it, and B, by doing it myself, I can then look at what's the most optimized way of doing it. Once I figured it out, record an SOP, chuck it in the ClickUp, and then the assigning of tasks just becomes so much easier. You don't have to, I'm curious how you run it, but you don't have to, if you do it, the way I've done it is I've got ClickUp tasks as templates. I've got ClickUp list, which has all the tasks in there. So I've got literally a template of new, stand out from the pack, customer signs up on, which is our white level of HighLevel. They sign up, and it's like some of the things that's just the same for everybody. And what I've done is inside each task, I put a reference link to the SOP, which lives in a centralized documentation. So it's just a ClickUp doc with lots of pages, each page being a different SOP. And I've got it referenced across all the different clients, all the clients that have similar tasks. But if the SOP changes, I just go to the one doc. But what's really cool about it is you just ping a VA and just assign her to the task. Before I would have to have meetings, hey, can you jump on a meeting? I need to show you something that I need you to do, and now it's just assign. And then the only thing I do when I onboard VAs is I jump on a call, hey, here's our work. Whenever we assign you to a task, you just go into the task, and you'll have a link that'll take you directly to an SOP. You can just watch a video. If you have any questions, reach out. We'll get you unstuck, but otherwise, pretty straightforward. That's what I've found works really well because it's very efficient. How do you do it?
Depends on the role and the person, because I think SOPs are great, but having a full SOP of A to Z also reduces your team members' ability to think. And you do want people that can think a bit, right?
That's a good point.
Because, if they just go to really grow and scale, you need people that can follow instructions, but also think for themselves and realize that, they could expand or they can make things better, right? You don't necessarily want them just following an SOP. You want them to follow an SOP and then go, how could I improve it? Or what's wrong here? What could I do better?
Yeah.
Right? So So we have SOPs. Most of mine are just done in the form of a video. Like I'll just do a video and then just kind of and then I'll just turn that into an SOP. Like take the transcript, chuck that into ChatGPT, turns it into a list. Done. That's a doc, right? They change a lot though, and that's one of the challenges like that we're having now. Me and you chatted about this in the little DM group the other day, right? About changing software platforms for the sake, not for the sake of changing platforms, but you see there's something that might be a little bit better. But now you've got to change your whole process. You've got to teach the team this whole new process. So do you want to change the platform or the software or whatever it is that you're using because it means a whole new training that you've now got to figure out or get your team to do and all those kind of things. So I would say I'm a lot more fluid now than I was rigid before with SOPs, a lot more fluid. So we hired a customer success manager a little while ago. So he's just been 4 months now. So 4 months now, he's our dedicated customer success manager. So that's an important role, and he's got to know a lot of stuff to be able to be put in front of customers. He runs onboardings, he can do group demos, he's the front line for support calls for clients, he's the front line for support tickets. There's a lot that he needs to know, right? So in terms of SOPs for him, we ran through training, we put stuff together. So there are some trainings on here's how you log into the support ticket system. If you ask for a ticket, this is the way that you should do it. And if you need to escalate that to someone else, this is what you need to do as well. But through that whole period, and even now, right, it's still 4 months on, right? Even now, I would go through the tickets with him each day to start with, and I would just go, this is how I would answer this ticket. Because there's nuances, right, to the way to reply to people. So I gave him the guide of log in here, here's how you answer a ticket, but then the how to respond to a customer can be different. And I'll give you a good example, right? So there was one even today, right? The only thing that comes to me now in our support ticket system is for refunds, right? Or something really serious if there's a real problem with someone, they need to escalate to me, right? But pretty much it's refunds. And the only reason they come to me is just so I can just keep an eye on what's going on. Because if I suddenly see that, we had a bunch of refunds in one day, I'm like, what's actually happening here, right? That doesn't really happen a lot. But I just feel like I need to keep in touch with what's going on there. I watch the sales and I need to just keep a gauge on refunds. So that's what comes to me. And we had one today that came in and a lady said that she'd been double charged. So she wanted to get refunded for her double charge. So okay, so that got escalated to me, had a quick look through. And what it actually was that it looked like she'd been charged twice, but she actually had an account with us last year and then she cancelled it at the end of December last year. Her bill was due at the beginning of December and her credit card had failed. All right. So she never paid the bill. She cancelled it at the end of the month and then she just resubscribed now. So Stripe went, okay, cool. We'll bill you because you've just set up a new account. Oh, you've got an outstanding invoice from 4 months ago. We're going to charge you for that now as well.
That's cool. I didn't know that Stripe does that.
I didn't know that it would do that, but it did. She got charged the day she signed up again, 4 months later, and she got charged for her outstanding invoice in December. And funny enough, that client, she'd actually put in this ticket saying, hey, I want a refund, I've been charged twice. Yeah. And then she'd actually put in a ticket soon after saying, hey, this isn't working. My SIM card just got blocked. I want a refund completely. I want to cancel my account, right? This has been escalated to me because it's refunds, right? So it comes to me. I looked at that and I'd figured out the part about, okay, she's been double charged because of this. She hasn't actually been double charged. She's been charged for an account and she owes us for an invoice from December, right? And then there's a separate ticket saying, my SIM card doesn't work. I've been blocked. I want to cancel this. So then I have a look at the account and go, okay, why has this happened, right? Mm-hmm. But yes, her SIM card had been blocked, but she'd done exactly the thing that we tell everybody not to do, and it's in our training, that she'd blasted out 1,000 text messages in 5 minutes, all exactly the same text, saying, hey Tim, we've got this deal on XYZ, click here to buy it with a link, right? So of course her SIM card got blocked immediately. So now we're in the situation of I've got a customer who thinks they've been double charged, so they're demanding a refund for one double charge, and then they're upset because this doesn't work because my SIM card just got blocked and I'm annoyed.
I wonder what it is, that sometimes not take any ownership of their own actions and just project outward.
Exactly right. So, the system works. You didn't follow the instructions. But now we have to manage that. So That's a situation. So I don't have an SOP for that. How do you manage that? Right? That's a relationship thing, because now I want to manage that client and their expectations and say, hey, look, the system actually works. All right. So we'll refund you, and we'll refund her if she wants. That's perfectly fine. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee. We'll refund people. That's fine. But, it doesn't work because of these reasons.
You may not realize this, but for the last 2 years, I've had a secret weapon that has made running my business inside of HighLevel so much easier. You see, there is so much that HighLevel can do, which is amazing, but it's a lot of work to stay up to date with it. And even more so if my customers are asking me questions about it. And this is why I'm excited to announce that our show is officially part of the HLPT Creator Network. This is HighLevel Pro Tools, an organization that I've been using to run support for my customers, as well as give me a ton of awesome epic add-ons that make running, launching, and differentiating my SaaS inside of HighLevel so much easier. And now that they're an official sponsor of the show, they've done something pretty bloody awesome. If you go to hlpt.com/experience, you can get one of their incredible tools absolutely for free. No purchase necessary, just for being a listener on the show. So head over to hlpt.com/experience, grab that free tool, and I promise you this is going to improve the conversion rates on your page. Check out all the other stuff that they offer and tell them that Pete sent you.
You know what's wild? There's a smarter way to grow your agency and help more local businesses without adding more stress. That's what HighLevel does. It's your all-in-one sales, marketing, automation, and AI system. No more duct taping tools together or paying for 20 different subscriptions that barely talk to each other. I've been using it for 5 years with my own white-level version, Stand Out From The Pack, helping Aussie businesses like Dimitri, a Canberra electrician, who now runs his jobs, quotes, calls, and follow-ups with our built-in AI employee. If you're an agency, HighLevel lets you do exactly that. Support your clients in new ways while building stable, recurring revenue every month. And if you're a local business, partner up with somebody who knows your market and your industry. If you're in Tasmania, my mate Jared from Boulder Digital, for example, has you covered. If you're in Canberra, that's my turf. Check out standoutfromthepack.com.au and we'll get you sorted. The point is, there's probably a high-level agency or SaaSpreneur near you. We're seasoned marketers, tech-savvy super nerds who love helping local businesses grow. We're global, we're connected, we're high-levelers. Now, I've got something really special for you guys. I've negotiated an exclusive 30-day HighLevel trial that's double the usual just for you. Sign up your agency through gohighlevel.com/vid or upgrade your existing plan, and I'll hook you up with over $3,200 worth of bonuses, resources, templates, and snapshots I normally give to my private clients only. So whether you're scaling an agency or leveling up your business, start with the right system. gohighlevel.com/vid or team up with your local SaaSpreneur and let's make business simple again. One platform, one login, no duct tape, just results. Would you refund her the December one as well?
That's the thing, right? So this is where I grabbed Akash, our CSM, and said, hey, look, come in here. Let's talk through this and what the response would be to this person. Because I don't have an SOP for this, right? How do you reply to this person? Because I want to keep them happy because they just signed up again as a customer, but they're immediately upset because they've broken it, because they didn't follow the instructions. They paid for this December invoice, which effectively they actually owed us anyway, right? We came up with a nice response to this person, like nicely to say, hey, look, we can see this. This is what's happened. It looks like you've been double charged, but you actually haven't, because it's actually an invoice you owed us for, and Stripe took that money. And the reason why your account isn't working is because of these reasons, but we've got help here for that. We've got snapshots, we've got support. You can join one of our onboarding calls, book a call with one of our team, or just watch this training here. This will step you through all the things that you need to do, and download our snapshot, use our GPTs, write your messages, do all this, and then it'll work, because we've got hundreds of agencies and thousands of end users doing this successfully. It's not the system, and we didn't say it like this. This isn't a system problem, this is a you problem, right? Follow the steps. We'd love to help you get this set up and working correctly. And if you'd like to do that, we'll be more than happy to help you. And as a goodwill gesture, I'll be happy to just refund you the December payment, just as a goodwill gesture. Let us know what you want to do. Because I'm thinking, like, honestly, as a business person too, and as you asked, do we refund that December payment? It's, look, to keep a client happy, sure, I'll refund her the December payment. If you stay happy, we keep you and we keep you going. But if you don't want to, and you just go, no, I want to cancel it all because it doesn't work, you go, yep, no worries, look, we'll refund you now, but you actually owe us. That payment is an outstanding one. So I think that we should keep that ultimately, because that was for services rendered back then. So we'll see what they say. This is literally a situation that came up this morning. So how do you create an SOP for that? Because you've got to keep the customer happy and then sacrifice one thing to maybe for the future. But if they don't want the future part with you, and they go, you kind of owe us that money. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned.
And then this type of customer sounds like she would fall into that bucket where, it's more of an emotional response, very quick response, not really assessing it, not, being introspective into maybe it's her own issue, what she's done or haven't followed the instructions. But in the end, ultimately, the risk is somebody who, and I'm not saying she is emotional, but I've had a customer that literally falls into that bucket. Like he was pissed, no results. He was working through another coach that we partnered up with. And the problem wasn't with the coach either. He just didn't get results because, again, he didn't follow the instructions. There's a process, there's a blueprint. That's how it works, right? Like we test things and then we see results and then we package it up and like we're trying to help other businesses. But there's a process and there's stuff that we do. Even if somebody pays you for full setup, there's always going to be a checklist for them to do stuff, like to provide stuff or whatever, right? So he was emotional and he straight away like just threatening. There's a thing, and he was just like being real dick about it, I don't really want to do it, but there's a thing called Google reviews, and so it's how do you de-escalate that, because that's still a risk. If somebody, even though you've done everything, you've checked everything, how do you, because what's the bigger risk is you get somebody who starts to go in a war against you and start throwing shit online, and and it's, you don't want that. Even though you can obviously fight it, you can argue against it, you can be, reasoning. Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Yeah, look, you just don't ever want the hassle, right? And also, I try and take a step back and just go, all right, where's this customer at in their head?
Mm-hmm.
This person's upset and they're annoyed because of these reasons. Okay, can we rectify that? Can we keep them happy? Ultimately, you want to keep customers happy, right? So, like I said, you might make some short-term sacrifices for a long-term gain. But a lot of the time, if you can do that and actually go back to customers and sort out with them, you end up with really good, lifelong, happy customers. You go, hey, again, we didn't tell the customer that, system works, this is a you issue. We didn't obviously say that, but we did point out nicely and say, hey, look, this is a problem. We can see here in your account, this is what you've done. These are the reasons why it's not working. Here's the training, here's the support, here's all the things you can get. If you need extra help, we offer, you can actually talk to a person. We've got Zoom support. We do all these things. We want to help you get this working because you bought this for a reason, right? You didn't just buy it because you wanted to spend some money today. You bought this because you wanted a reason. You wanted to get results. You didn't get results. Let's help you get results, right? So again, you see, some people don't come back on that path. Some people do. Yeah, you just want to keep things nice with customers and just try and think where they are. And again, going back to the SOP thing, that's just coming back to like education and training. So training myCRMSIM and going, hey, this is how I would handle this, right? Because we want to handle this and think about the future for that customer. And again, like we don't just want to necessarily refund them that first payment immediately now, because if they just cancel their account and go, no, I just want to cancel, we've just refunded them 2 payments. And we missed out. And like we didn't do anything wrong. So it could end up that way anyway, because you can get Stripe chargebacks and stuff. But hey, you just try and handle situations really. That just comes down to communication really, and trying to be upfront with clients. Yeah.
Mate, I've been looking at these events happening. And I'm here in Canberra. Like my last event, I went to Dallas, and I'm looking at Gary's over there in South America. Now he's going there. Are you going to a lot of events these days? What's been happening?
Man, get around. Go to Vegas in a couple of weeks, mate. Actually, in a couple of weeks, in a week.
Exciting. What are you going to do in Vegas?
So that's Dakota and Andy's JHL assembly.
Okay, Andy O'Date and Dakota Ruth.
Yes. So I imagine this podcast will probably be out well after that's occurred, because it's April the 8th. April 9th.
Yeah, we've got a 7-week lead up time right now. I'm trying to shorten
so April 9th. So 2 months ago, this event happened. You'll have probably seen it online and read all about it. But in next week, we'll head off to that. So we're going to go to the JHL assembly. I think they've got 100 agency owners coming to that.
Brilliant. Mate, with your product, makes perfect sense. Go where the market is, highly saturated, very specific audience. You actually don't have to have a huge number, right? 100 is very much worth to go there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's worth going. And for us, it's really good as well. I think We've been in this Zoom world. This is my view of how things have changed a little bit. I know we've got AI, right? We can talk about that, how AI is, and agentic, and people are using their avatars and all that stuff. But I really see it that people are getting more and more wanting to have a human connection, go to these events, talk to people, shake a hand, see a real person. And there's so much value in that. We've done partnerships and deals with people now that just wouldn't have happened over Zoom. All right.
Yeah.
We kind of started conversations on Zoom, but then we've gone and been in the country with these people, hung out, whether it's at the event, at the bar, playing a game, whatever it might be, like just getting to meet people. And half of that is, it's not even going and necessarily talking about what you're going to do. It's just like hanging out and getting to meet people. Like just go and have a conversation with people. It's really important. And I think, I don't know, AI is changing the landscape day by day, right?
It's ridiculous.
But I think people are missing the human connection,
Yeah.
and it's all getting removed by AI. Like we don't even know what's real anymore. You're looking at AI videos of influencers or bands or this or that. How do we connect with real people? And these events are a good opportunity to do that and go and see your customer base, and they get to meet the people behind it. We've done a lot of talks. We had Raheen on, we run webinars as well, and Raheen from Brandify come on and talk about like personal branding, how important that is now. And she showed us that when she came on and did a webinar with us, that I'd never even sort of considered or thought about. But the amount of people that are searching on Google now for how to create a personal brand, I forget the number, so I'm probably going to get it wrong here, but it's doubled or tripled in the last couple of years because people are seeing this stuff and they're just like, how do I stand out, right? How do you stand out now in this AI world where you can throw out 100 videos of you, shorts, talking about something within the day, like easily, and then have them published and posted and scheduled and whatever. But you can't make 100 videos in a day, personally. So how do you stand out from the person that's doing these 100 AI videos or all this AI stuff? Being your true, authentic self and being out there is the only way that you can really do that now. And AI videos don't cut the mark as far as that goes. I mean, they're very good, but they still don't cut the mark as far as being like a real person and going and meeting real people.
Yeah, I actually think, in a way, I like how it's progressing and the video is getting really good. But at the same time, I hope it doesn't really get that good that you can't tell. Because that's going to ruin everything, I think. Not everything, but, like I go to Facebook these days and I'm just seeing so much more AI generated content, right? We're seeing it and it's like, how much of it is real? I think this is like an interesting thing. I don't want to sound all negative, but it's heading to to an interesting future where you wouldn't be able to tell if somebody's been, very creative with how they, write their copy and how they write their personal post. Because right now, like I'm looking at Facebook and everybody's copy is just like a lot more clever, thought out. And you could tell people are using AI a lot more. But like I said,
They are, but if you look at like some of the really big influencers out there, unless their videos are amazing AI, and I'll talk about like Gary Vee and Alex Hormozy, right? They're not putting AI avatars out there. All their videos are them. They're clips of them talking at conferences, having a conversation with a person, something from a consulting, clips from podcasts they've done. They're not using AI videos.
yeah.
Now,
I think it's good.
why? I asked that question. I don't know the answer, but why are they not doing it? And if they're not doing it, and everyone else is, and they're some of the biggest marketers on the planet, right? And everyone else is saying, yeah, use AI videos, but the biggest marketers on the planet are not doing that. Why not?
I think this is the, when they say, when everybody's zig, you go to zag. That's how you got to stand out. Because it's as humans, we're lazy by nature, so we're always looking for shortcuts and for leverage. And I think that's why.
Yeah. And a lot of people just don't want to get on camera. Like they're nervous. They're, they worry how they look and they appear. Like we've done some AI videos of me and I've posted a couple just because I made them and I was clear that this is an AI video. Like I've made this for, just to see how it is. What do you think? Ha 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 type thing. And we were trying to make some AI videos of me for a new website that we're building, or we're rebuilding the website, right? So AI videos of me explaining the iMessage product, explaining SMS, explaining RCS, our new product and stuff like that. And they just don't look right to me. I'm just like, they're good. The voice is good. We've trained it. It's got 2 hours worth of my conversation, so it's trained really well. the AI avatar is pretty good, but it still struggles with certain words. Like it doesn't say our brand product. It's like myCRMSIM. It's not quite grabbing it. I'm like, and I don't think anyone would probably pick it up. Like they're pretty good, but for me, I'm just like, that's not me. And even if people don't notice these things, there's an intuition that people have got right inside where they'll kind of watch something and it resonates or it doesn't. And you don't even know why sometimes. And I just feel like they don't resonate. They definitely don't resonate with me because I know it's not me anyway. But I think other people will see that and go, yeah, that's not the actual person. If they're not putting themselves there on the camera to explain what their product actually is, why not? And I think it just subconsciously chucks a load of questions into the back of someone's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're there front and center going, hey, I'm Gary, this is me, this is our product, this is how it works. Got any questions? Reach out to our support team. Like, I don't have to be answering their questions. I don't answer the support team. I do our open office hours. I do some of our demo calls. I'm not always there anymore, but they still see that person behind it, kind of standing behind their product. And I think that's important. So all these AI videos that we were going to do, we kind of binned it and we just recorded me instead, actually in front of a screen doing the videos.
Good.
Because I just wasn't comfortable with it. I went, nah,
Yeah,
I think we
and
need
also, I
people
mean,
in
it's also a difference if it was like creating a regular content every week, something fresh for socials. Maybe that's, if it's for your website, for a brand new website, and it's like you just do it once and this is where the conversion happened. It just makes a lot more sense to make that actual real video, for sure. And, you know, aside from that, like you've been leveraging your time since, when did you start your podcast?
We started doing webinars pretty soon after we launched because we were doing weekly webinars and it was just me basically talking about SMS. And I think I did 2 or 3 months. I was like, I can't keep doing this. It can't just be me all the time. So I started asking people in the HighLevel community, said, hey, look, would you come on and teach our people something? I know you've got this cool product or this cool service or you coach people on this. Can you just come and teach our community about what it is that you do? And I did that genuinely because I just wanted to bring in cool people that I knew and liked and trusted. And I still, to this day, I think we've done somewhere around 80 webinars now. I think I've done affiliate links on 2 of them. And that's because when the people turn up, they go, oh, we set up an affiliate link for you for our products at the end. And I was like, oh, great, thank you very much. I never asked for any of that. I just generally try and bring people in because it's good for our audience. It's good for me. It's good for content. It's good for them. Everybody kind of wins in that situation. And again, trying to be authentic, you know, with the video and all that stuff. I didn't want to do weekly webinars where every week I'm bringing someone on to pitch and promote a product so that we could make an affiliate commission out of it. Because that, again, to me, just seemed like that's just me trying to pitch a product for someone else every week. And I want to bring in stuff that people will trust or actually I think is good for them, right? Or we can educate them on, or whatever it might be. Otherwise, people are just going to, oh, you're just pitching every week.
You said the
That's
keyword there, education, yeah. Like, I think you can still sell stuff at the webinars, but if it's purely like a sales presentation, then that's going to put people off, yeah. But I think if you come across from, hey, we're going to bring in this person, he's going to talk about some cool strategy, you get to learn, and then obviously providing the shortcut in the form of a product or service on how that strategy can be implemented. I think it's always a good thing because it's serving the market. And if you do it in a soft way and mentioning, this is where we are a little bit different. We've talked about it, right? My approach is a little bit more, I try to structure it in pretty much always because it's like, it just makes sense. But yeah, never in a way it would be like pure sales. Like even this podcast, right? Like bringing on guests, interviewing people about different strategies. Look, I mean, it's learning process too, right? I've had some vendors, some episodes where it just turned a bit more of it would just end up being a little bit more sales than I would have wanted it. But yeah, just oftentimes now it just comes across pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I think you do the right thing. I mean, your podcast is like where we aspire to be because we do that. We do webinars. Then we started a podcast as well. We started SaaS Dads podcast, which you're coming on soon.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow, actually. Yeah, is it tomorrow? Yeah, we started SaaS Dads. And I started that because of a conversation that I had with Bryce from Closebot. And Bryce from Closebot and me, me and Bryce are very similar as well in terms of, hey, here's our product. We think it's really cool. We're going to educate you about it. If you want to buy it, here's the option at the end kind of thing, right? I've done webinars with Bryce where we've gone through the whole thing and then we get to the end and we go, oh, have you got a link? For people ask it, have you got a deal or a link? Or oh yeah, sorry, yeah, here's the link, whatever. At the end, because we kind of forget about that part, right? We're there to educate people, not to ram a sales pitch down their throat, right? And I was doing a podcast once with Bryce, and we were doing the normal thing where we were kind of talking about our products and CloseBot and myCRMSIM and then how they work together and stuff like that. And it was really nice. And in halfway through or so, we started talking about his journey that he's on because he wants to get to a 9-figure valuation with CloseBot, which I just applaud him for every day and just go, mate, I hope you get there. I don't have that aspiration because that's really hard work. But good luck for you, and I'll support you in any way that I can. Okay? But talking about that and talking with him, and then this was almost a year ago, I think, that we did that podcast. And at that point, I'm not saying we were in the same level of our companies or whatever, but we were on the same journey. Like, we were scaling pretty fast. They were scaling pretty fast. He had much bigger aspirational goals than we did, but we were still going at a fair rate as well. And we started talking about that, what that was like, and the sacrifices that you make across your family, between your kids and your wife, and then managing staff and having to hire new people and training people for SOPs and keeping on top of everything and answering emails and all the things you have to learn when you're in this scaling mode, and the challenges around it, particularly around family and balancing life and family. So in the middle of our podcast where we were talking about like our products, we had this 20-minute bit where we really spoke about like our family and what it was like, and how, you know, I struggle because I'm going to picking my son up at 3 o'clock from school and then I don't work. So I work from roughly 9 till 3 o'clock, which is a short day. And then I've got my son. So I'll go back to work at 8 o'clock at night, and that's really tiring, you know. And it was such a good conversation from one business owner to another. Just a genuine conversation. I got off that podcast, we finished it, wrapped it up, and I couldn't get out of my head afterwards about that conversation. I was like, I want to have more chats like that with people about what it's like to grow and scale and the troubles that you have. And not talking about the trouble so much, but just, hey, this is the reality of what it's like. You understand this? Yep. Because then other people, I think, can relate to that. You know, all agency owners that are out there, we all think, I'd say all people, right? No matter what you're doing, we're all our own special problem, right? We all know our own problems, and you kind of forget that other people have got these same problems too, right? So it's good to hear that from other people. Go, yeah, this is the struggles, and this is how I overcome it. And you can pick up really good information from that. And I couldn't get that out of my head for months. So it stuck in my head, and then I don't even know where it came from. Why would I do that? What would I talk about? And then SaaS Dads came into my head. I was like, oh, let's call it SaaS Dads. So that was the idea for a podcast. We just started doing SaaS Dads and interviewing dads that are building SaaSes. So you'll be one. You'll come in on.
Yeah.
And
no, it's been brilliant, man. I've been following it. I remember when you reached out last year. I don't know if it was you wanted me to help you with it or run it together.
Yeah, you did help us. You did help us. We got together, and then you showed us like the process that you have for this podcast, and you know some of the things that you do to actually put this together, like production-wise. So you actually really helped us at the start because you kind of went through that with me and kind of gave us some guidance at the end. Because I was like, I didn't know what I'm doing.
I did that.
I had no idea. I was like, we're just going to do some Zoom calls with people.
There you go.
Yeah, so you actually really helped us with that. And then my idea was that I said, I'm just going to do 12. I was like, if I can get 12 people on, that'd be great. I'm just going for 12 conversations. That was my idea.
Yeah.
And I hit up some pretty big names in HighLevel. I got like Matt DeCinos and Rob Bailey and Danny Clark, like Diamond SaaSpreneurs.
Yeah, awesome people. Yeah, I've had them on this show too.
Yeah, got Sarah Cordner on as well. You know, we did a SaaS Mums. I didn't want to be prejudiced, right? SaaS Dads, but I was like, come on, we can have mums in there too, all right? So we did SaaS Mums with Sarah Cordner. I even got on Sean Clark and Robin as well, two of the founders from HighLevel as well, because they both got young kids. And I thought we'll do 12, and that'll probably be it, because, I don't know, maybe I'll be boring after that. I don't know what else I'll say to people. And then we'd done the 12, and then I was in Dallas, and they were still coming out at that time, because we recorded 12, and then we just started releasing them weekly. And I was in Dallas, and I had 5 people. I had more than 5 people, but 5 people that actually came up to me and said, hey, can I be on your SaaS Dads podcast? I really like that. You know? So then we started doing a season 2, which is coming out now. And it's fun. Like, these are cool conversations to have with people, because I think these are the conversations that agency owners don't hear, right? They'll get told, do this, pick a niche, and then scale that niche and hire a VA, right? That's kind of the instruction, the blueprint, if you like. But when you hear the backstory for these people. You know, talking to like Danny Clark's, he's got like 1,000 accounts. Like, how did he start? How did that go? What were the troubles that you went through to actually getting that and scaling that? You know, those are the lessons that people, well, they're the stumbling blocks that people will come across as you grow and scale. So I think they're really good conversations. That's been a lot of fun. Enjoy that.
Yeah. And the bit about relatability, I think it's important because, I mean, I tend to beat myself, or I don't often tend to reward myself for the effort I put in during the day to day. You know, like sometimes you got this project and you're just going all in, you finish that, move straight on the next one because you're just trying to get things off the list, trying to get traction, and you never really like
sit back and
reconcile and all the good stuff. You just tend to take it for granted. That's just the way it is. You just got to hustle, just got to work hard, and then you get to a point where maybe you've worked a little bit too long, too hard for too many days in a row, and you start to maybe have a feeling a bit of burnout and some negative, like feeling about it, like but being able to speak to somebody else who's in that same space. The relatability is, somebody else is going through this is normal. This is not just me. This is a regular thing. Like we're all going through it. So I think it's important for mental health as well, having those conversations, whether you've got 1,000 sub-accounts or trying to get your first 100, there's common problems, maybe different scale, but.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And everybody's been through them. There's not one person that I've spoken to who hasn't had massive problems on the way at some point or another. And they might not have been the business problems, they might have been personal problems they had to overcome while they were managing the business. They go, this happened. Maybe I don't know, like they got divorced, or their child was really ill at a point, or, their car blew up, or whatever it was, so they couldn't get out to calls, or something, whatever it was, right? Every single person has had some problem along the way, either personally or business-wise, that they've had to overcome. And then you do just have to overcome it, right? You have to just kind of sit back and just go, all right, this has happened, but tomorrow is going to be another day and a new day. And that's part of business, right? Every day is challenges to overcome, every single day. I mean, there's so many stupid little challenges that come up. We were talking earlier, right, so we're going to go to this event next week, and I've got some new T-shirts printed, so we've got some new T-shirts to go out. And we've just got new ones with a QR code on the back that says, hey, ask us about iMessage, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, right, that's cool. I've already got the T-shirts, this logo, the T-shirts, they're all uploaded in Vistaprint already, right? That's done. All I need to do is go in there and drop a QR code on the back, put some text on there, hit order. That's going to be done in about 5 or 10 minutes, right? Should be really easy. So I did that, and in 5 or 10 minutes, I was done. But when I went to order, there was a problem with the shopping cart on there. And then because I've got a call to get on, like I started on live chat going, hey, there's a problem. It's saying there's an error with my order. What's the problem, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So you get the person comes on, like, give me a minute, give me 2 to 4 minutes to check into this. So I'm kind of waiting for them. I've got a call that I'm supposed to get on. I think we had open office hours call because it was on a Friday. So we've got open office hours, which is when our clients just come and just ask whatever questions they want. So I'm like, okay, I need to get on this call in a minute. But I don't want to drop off of the live chat that I'm on, because as soon as I lose it, you're back to square one. So I'm juggling both of those, and it ended up taking an hour to get this Vistaprint thing done while I'm juggling the open office hours. So I'm kind of talking on the screen over here and just keeping like an eye over here. Okay, because I've got to answer them, because otherwise they'll disappear. Because I had a couple of times where they went, are you still with me? If you're not with me, I'll time out. Yeah. So you kind of go, no, I'm still here while I'm talking over there. So this thing takes me an hour while I'm juggling that, which should have taken me 10 minutes and done before, so I could have focused over here. There's always just silly little things that will take up your time in your day to big things, right? And that's just the nature of business, right? So if you're not prepared for problems, probably shouldn't be in business. Take out of that.
Yeah, it's always going to be some, and the definition between the loser and not being a loser is really just not giving up.
Yeah.
If you give up, you lost it. That's the definition of being a loser. Like, you lose it, you move on. What else has been happening?
What else has been happening?
Maybe, go ahead.
I guess life is just life happens as it happens, kind of thing, in some ways. I mean, I've got a young son. That's my priority in life, really, is like my son. And I tend to spend as much time as I can with him, which then means I do work very odd hours or silly hours, and I'm trying to pull those back because, like I mentioned earlier, I tend to work a lot in the evening, which means I work at night. That means I end up working late, and then I still got to get up early in the morning because I've got to get him to school, got to walk the dog, got all those things to do. So I'm trying to pull that back, now, like we're in a decent place as far as the company goes and everything. So I'm trying to pull all those hours back so that I can get decent night's sleep again. But really, yeah, focus around family, big focus around my son, really, just spending time with him, trying to not keep him, I mean, just get him to grow into a good young human. I mean, he's 8 years old. Your son's a bit younger, I think, isn't he?
He's 6.
6, yeah, he's a couple of years younger. But yeah, just trying
turning 6 this year.
Turning 6, yeah. So just going through life and the challenges of being a dad, figuring that out, because there's no handbook, there's no SOP for kids. That one, I have got no manual as far as that goes. So you're just trying to figure that out and spend as much time with him as possible. We had a really cool trip. So in December, we went over to Pakistan, saw all our dev team over there, which was awesome.
Nice.
And I took him with me because I wanted him to experience a different culture and another part of the world and just see what's going on in other countries. He's travelled with me a lot. Like, we take him a lot of places anyway. I mean, the last 6 months, I'm trying to make him understand that this isn't necessarily normal, because in 6 months he went to Bali, Pakistan, China, which was only like a sort of a layover for a day, but it was in China, and then Mexico, like in 6 months. And just kind of explain to him, like,
Did you go to the AI Unleashed Summit, the one in January? Is that the thing that you went for?
Yeah, so we went there in Mexico as well.
Yeah, cool.
So him and my wife came over. We had a holiday before that. So
I think Sarah did that as well. She brought her family over there for that AI Unleashed Summit.
Yeah, we went together. So we all hung out. So she brought her family, I brought my family. We hung out for 10 days before. Nice. And then our families went home and me and Sarah went off to the conference. It was heaps of fun.
Except for the weather. I heard the weather wasn't that great.
It was on and off. But yeah, trying to do that and grow a good human as a son and show him the world while trying to keep him grounded, which is really hard when they're young and 8 years old, because they just don't understand the value of money or anything. They just don't get it. Yeah, so just trying to do that and figure out what he's interested in, where we can take him, what direction he wants to go in. He doesn't know himself at 8, so trying to guide, not push, all those things really.
Yeah. Yeah, no, having kids is awesome. Yeah.
It's definitely it's the biggest growth curve I think you can have as an adult, like having kids.
Yeah. The juggle is real sometimes, for me a lot, actually. I've been working a lot. But yeah, that's something I'm working on. Yeah, I'm realizing I've been working way too much. So anyway, so maybe I'll leave it for SaaS dads, hey? SaaS dads.
Wait for SaaS dads, but yeah, I mean, I know you've got that going on and you're moving soon and stuff like that. So it's what is the juggle? What are we striving for? I mean, I was having conversations with some JHLers yesterday, like we caught up, and a few people have told me this. We should do this with our products and have a done-for-you service that we should do for people, to get them set up and all these things. And we probably should, but it's another service that then we've got to do and hire people for and manage. And
no, I think what you've done, what the business that you've got right now, it's brilliant. Like, it's actually not it's not a highly complex SaaS business, right? And there's a real demand for it. I actually sometimes think about myCRMSIM as a definition of a really lean type of offering that makes good money. And it's actually, I would think, I don't know the back end, but I mean, you've highlighted some of the areas, like how you now, you don't work as much and you only do the open office. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that's what we all kind of striving towards. Like with my SaaS stand out from the pack, I've designed it in a way where it'd be the same way you've got it, like just lean as possible on my time. So having the support taken care of by HL Pro Tools has been great. Just doing open office hours. But I'm not there yet. I'm still pitching fulfillment and dealing that. But that's never going to get, you can't compare it. Like the complexity or the range of things that can be fulfilled with HighLevel in comparison to fulfilling a myCRMSIM account. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
it's a way different beast. But there's things that we could do, but I look at all that stuff as well and go, okay, there's stuff we could do, and there's stuff we should do, and then there's the stuff that we want to do. And
how do you pick it?
Yeah, how do you pick it at the end of the day? And it depends on how much time it's got to take, the energy it's got to invest, and what do you need to do for your life. I really worked hard the last 12 months or 18 months since we launched. I put in massive hours, and there was late nights and all these things. So I'm doing what we were talking about at the beginning there. You're saying, you can sit there sometimes just working, you go from one task to the next task to the next task, ticking it off the list. I'm actually in a stage at the moment where I'm just kind of sitting back a little bit. I mean, it might not look like that because I'm still doing so much, but compared to what I was doing in the last year and a half, I'm actually just sitting back a little bit and just kind of taking a bird's eye view, so to speak, of where things are at, what we're doing. We've got a great roadmap for the future for our product and things that are coming out. The product as it is awesome, but I can see so many things that we can do to make that better, because we always do. You know, we're entrepreneurial, we always look at things with a half critical eye, I think. So there's many things that I think that we can do and we've got in our pipeline to do. But there's only so many hours in the day that you can do all of that stuff, and you know, that's speeding up as well with AI. But that's also a challenge too, because there's all this AI stuff going on and people vibe coding all these things, but that doesn't help necessarily in a complex system like we've got. It helps to a degree.
Yeah.
And I'm always pushing our dev team, go, come on, we should be getting code in this faster. Yeah, but you don't understand, Gary. You don't understand the complexities of these things. And then what happens if and when it breaks, you know? And
I think Cursor might be a good solution. I've been looking at Cursor. I know there's Lovable, but Cursor is it's being built for developers, so you can actually see the code and you can highlight portion of the code and get AI to help you. And then you can also link it to GitHub. So you've got that there.
Yep. Yeah, we are doing all of that stuff, but it's the way, and I get it when it's explained to me, right? But when you've got a complex system, right? Let's say you want to do a simple change, all right? So I just want to change that button to blue. It's red at the moment, I want to make it blue. So if you know the code and you're a developer, you can hop into the code and you can just go in and my Claude cursor actually just popped up when you were talking about it. I heard it. Popped up on the screen. Get rid of it. You know, you can just go in, you can just change the hex color, and you're done, right? Really quick and simple. But little things like that can actually be harder to do with AI, right? So it can change the button shape, it can move things around, it can do whatever. And, you know, you've got to be really clear on what you're doing. So it's a help and a hindrance in some ways. So we're using it, but degree, I guess, because it's complex. It's complex systems that have to be put together, and we've got a number of complex systems that have to work together and then have to scale through servers and through AWS to manage all the volume that goes through as well. And we can't afford for that to go down. You know, we cannot afford for it to break. We've got so many people on there. We take that part obviously very seriously in terms of keeping the lights on.
Question to you about software. So you've been releasing some new features. I think mid last year or beginning of last year is when the iMessage product came out. So you've got SMS now, you've got WhatsApp, and you've got iMessage. Mm-hmm. How much focus is given towards adding new features or enhancing new features versus, you know, just improving what's there and just making it more better as a user experience and making it easier for people to not mess up? For example, the rules around sending limits. I think you were talking about it in one of the webinars last week, you know, because again, going back to that lady, right? She said, my SMS is not working because she burned that number. She didn't follow the instructions. So there's always going to be a human error. I've even seen HighLevel now. They actually, the A2PT and DLC, they're trying to put a lot more in place to minimize the human errors that are there, just creating more guardrails so it becomes really out-of-box system that you just follow it and you just can't mess it up. Where you're at with, when you're looking at your, I'm trying to frame the question, when you're looking at your software, you know, how much focus, where's the priority for you more of? The commercial aspect, meaning adding more bells and whistles versus the quality of the product itself?
I would say the priority is the quality of the product, all right? Because every time we get any feedback, that's what goes in first. And then it depends on how important is that thing. So if it's a feature request that's a nice to have, then that goes on the list, but obviously it goes a bit down further. If there's a problem that someone's had, and we can see a way that we could fix that problem by adjusting something in the code or the UI or whatever it might be, that goes to the top of the list. So those, and then there's the balancing act of the how long does it take to implement versus the priority, right? Mm-hmm. So there is a balancing act, but the quality of the product is the most important thing for me. And we've done a lot of stuff on that over the last, since we've launched. I mean, we will have a completely new app coming out that we've just completely redone for SMS, which should eliminate any problems with people blasting out, because it's now controlled at the app level. Like, we have stuff in place at the server level to try and throttle things, but we'll now have it in place at the actual app level as well. So that was a high priority problem, but it was a long problem to build. Like, to rebuild the entire app from scratch is not a 5-minute thing. So that's been going on in the background, and then it's the juggling of that between, okay, this needs to be done because it's going to fix a high priority problem, but it's a long problem to fix. And then a small high priority problem might come in, and you go, okay, we can get this one done in a couple of hours or a day, for example. So, okay, just pause for a day on the app, just get that one done because we get it fixed, but that delays the app for a day. Does that make sense? So there's a constant juggling act between priority and time with all those things. So the app has been out for a little while now, and then also there's the release of that. So we've had the app out, and there's the release of that to make sure, well, is that going to work? So it's in beta, and we've got users using it, and users, like new users, now have the option to download the old one or the new one if they want. So slowly over the next few weeks, we're going to actually, next week or so, I think we're going to take off the option. You can't even download the old one anymore, and new users will only get to download the old one. And then we have to sunset the old one, transfer the users over. So all these things take time, right?
Yeah.
And then, in the meantime of that, there's other things going on. So we've got new products that we're building. So we've got RCS that we're building, which I'm very excited about, because again, we'll be the first people to do this. Like, we were first to market with iMessage. We'll
Rich content schema?
Rich communication service.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those fancy messages, guys, when you're sending out a link to somebody and then a beautiful SEO image, the social image pops up in that message. I like that. Whenever I'm sending it to like people I want to have on a podcast, I've got mine, and it's got a little thumbnail with all the little faces of all the people that I've interviewed. It kind of looks like add a bit more, punch to it when they see it. Hey, we'd love to have you on a show, on an interview. I like how that shows up in those messages.
Yeah,
that's in the iMessage. It shows up everywhere. Yeah, so I think HighLevel's working on as well.
Yeah, so I think Twilio have got RCS, and I don't think they've got it across the lead connector yet. Mm-hmm. But again, we'll be doing that through a mobile device. So we've got that done. We've had beta testers has all been running for a while, so that's all good. Again, just a case of getting that out and launched and building the web page for it and the product and all the other things that go with that. So that's been on the to-dos. And then, because I've been away a bit and traveling, so I'm the blocker in a lot of these things now anyway.
People waiting for your feedback or for your approval.
Yeah. So priority is the product, and then the other stuff is feature enhancement. Yeah. So adding, and again, it's like RCS is a feature enhancement, right? But it also solves a problem, as in it does offer better deliverability and the option for high resolution messages and video. So it's a problem solver, but also a product enhancement, because it's actually a separate product to SMS. These are actually two different things.
Yeah. It actually doesn't go through carriers, does it? It's more
correct. It goes through Wi-Fi.
So is it almost like what iMessage is being for Apple, RCS is going to be for Androids?
It's exactly that. Yeah, it is the Android version of iMessage. Yeah,
it's going to be brilliant. And with that, because is always the thing, right? So sending lots of SMS messages comes at a cost, especially if you're in country outside of US where Twilio charges horrendous amount. Guys, by the way, we've talked about all this. If you want to learn about myCRMSIM, we've done an episode 2 years ago, another one in July last year in 2025. So the whole product of myCRMSIM, this is the reason why we're not talking about it as much today, because we've already done that. The last one covers a lot of it. So if you're running an agency, I'm just going to go into the pitch, mate, I think.
I wasn't going to, you do.
Yeah, I mean, if you're running an agency, guys, if you've got lots of sub-accounts, lots of business owners, some of those business owners who are sending lots of SMS messages, you can help them out. And if you want to reduce their costs, they're going to love you for it. You can actually, it's weird how you can actually make more money as opposed to making the money on the rebilling and still make it, that you save a lot of money for the customer. So it's really a no-brainer. So yeah, if you want, that's what myCRM is. It works on a SIM card. You plug it into your phone, Android or iPhone, and then through Gary's myCRM app that you install on the phone, and also myCRM app in the marketplace of GHL is how you connect it all. Basically, you're then able to send SMS messages through your phone And if you have one of those unlimited SIM card plans, then that's kind of the magic of it. But yeah, check it out, guys. Head over to highlevelexperience.com/myCRMSIM. You've got a good page, mate. You've got a good website that kind of explains it. You've now added some videos. So it really just, I don't need to say more. Guys, just check it out if this makes sense. If you want to save on your SMS costs, if you want to improve reply rates by implementing iMessage, the blue bubble magic, it's all there. That's myCRMSIM. Gary, we are at the end. We're gonna wrap it up. I've got stuff to do. You've got stuff to do, mate. I just want to say you're awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you for sponsoring this show. And yeah, it's been great to have you on again.
Pleasure, mate. Just keep doing what you're doing and educating the JHL community. I think that's a real valuable thing for people to hear the stories, hear the people that come on, hear their journeys, figure out. Everyone's got to figure out their own path, but hopefully this can help people to, nudge and keep them a little bit more linear than going off the rails, maybe.
Absolutely. This is probably a good segue to this next pitch. Guys, I'm opening up. Until now, the way I was always the one that was sort of reached out to people who I thought would be great to have on the show for interview. I want to try something different. I want to interview any other fellow SaaSpreneur. I don't just want to interview vendors or affiliates or SaaSpreneurs who are like high up and they made it. I know this is aspirational and it's cool. I'm talking to you guys right now. I know this is cool because it's aspirational, like, cool, how I've done it. But, hearing how somebody has been able to get to 1,000 sub-accounts may not be as relatable to you if you're only got your first 5 or 10. And so my thought is, why don't we interview some of the regulars in the community who may be just starting out, because that could be interesting. What's your perspective of HighLevel that you just opened up an account, it's been a month? What are you struggling with? It could be an interesting interview. Or maybe you've got 10, first 50, somewhere mid-range at the beginning, whatever, really. I just want to interview you guys and have a chat with you as well, because we could create some pretty epic content that will help others relate even more and provide more value. And as you're hearing this and you're thinking, oh yeah, but I don't really have, I haven't made it yet. Why would I go on a podcast? What could I share? Trust me, everybody's got some magic in them. We'll dig it out. That's one thing I enjoy doing. So anyway, long story short, last week it was, at the time of recording this podcast, I spent a whole day and a half of re-engineering the whole experience of booking on an episode. So I created a new survey. It's got a lot of questions, qualification questions that help me understand better where you're at, what's your journey. And then you can basically book. It's called applications. So you apply, and then for the most part, everybody will come through anyway. But it helps me understand. So if you want to be interviewed, this is a super long pitch. Anyway, if you guys want to be on the show, I would love to interview you. I'd love to learn about your journey and create some epic content to help others. Head over to highlevelexperience.com/interview, and that's it. Gary, thank you so much, mate. Looking forward to be on your podcast tomorrow. That's SaaS Dads podcast. Is it on Spotify? You can just look it up. SaaS Dads, is it?
It's on Spotify, YouTube, everywhere you can download podcasts.
Really? Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys, we'll put it in the show notes for you. But yeah, Gary, thank you so much, mate. And thank you guys as well. Thank you for listening to today's episode on the HighLevel Experience. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please share it with your fellow agency mates and other high levelers that you think would also benefit from listening. For show notes, links, and extra tips to help you grow your agency or your SaaS with HighLevel, please go to highlevelexperience.com. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day, everybody.